Uncork the nectar, the guys in you will find from the vines of summer.
Hey, what's up, my lady? Nothing. I'm a craft beer brewer, and I guarantee I know more than you do. Water is the most important ingredient in a craft beer. Wouldn't you agree? Well, everything really is important to some degree. Water in beer is important, but only would be really of any concern if it came directly out of a pipe that people were taking shits out of. Our water department here in Upper, however, is awesome and crystallizes the water that comes out of the mighty Sandusky. I heard the only water you use in your beer is from the Sandusky River. Is that true? Oh yeah, it's from the dusk. That water is garbage. If I went outside and held a cup while my neighbor's goat took a in it, then I would have a better water source for my beer. The Sandusky River has nothing special about it. Well, let me tell you a little story about the Sandusky River and why it's more glorious water than the rivers of the legendary Colorado or Milwaukee, which, by the way, still get people's put back into them and then filtered out into beer. So anyways, it was on June 11th, 1782, which was exactly 111 years before PBR was voted America's best beer and 236 years before Old Till Light stumbled upon the beer scene in a complete and total debaucherous state of mind as the baby step beer for non-craft beer drinkers. Anyways, Colonel William Crawford and the Army surgeon Dr. Knight had finally retreated from the major battle, which was later called the Battle of Fallen Timbers, because the plains that they had fought on had a ton of fallen timbers on it, hence the name. So they were looking for Crawford's son and son-in-law who were lost during their retreat, and somehow Crawford and Knight ended up on what is now called Broken Sword Creek, which, by the way, drains into the mighty Sandusky. Can I have another Old Milwaukee? Light, good sir? No problem. Anyways, they most likely retreated on a creek thinking their tracks couldn't be found, but little did they know that the Wyandottes were some of the best trackers that the world has ever seen. So just like in the movie scene from Last of the Mohicans, where the native Wyandot Indians found Chingachgook, Uncas, and Daniel Day-Lewis behind the waterfall, Colonel Crawford and Dr. Knight knew they were caught, had no escape route, and were completely The Wyandots captured the old boys and took them back to be tortured and punished for carrying out the orders that the white man's government deemed necessary to fulfill in order for a new government and way of life to establish and prosper. So the Wyandots took these two back near the Taimakati River, which was there and where they had their camp and women and children. And when they got there, they stripped them naked and tied them to a pole, and they beat the out of him with their hands and burning pieces of wood. They ridiculed him, but ridicule didn't matter because he couldn't understand what the they were saying, because he didn't speak the native Wyandot tongue. The chief was said to have come out of his wigwam with his face painted black, which natives would use to signify death, and with him brought a ceremonial drink for their prisoner to indulge in to help his journey into the next life, into the spirit world, man. The chief gave Crawford his last taste of sweetness here on earth. Wow, that was really good and refreshing. It's smooth and tastes like something, but I'm not really sure what that something is. You know, man? Good heavens! My old granddad, old man and old lady would all love this. What do you call this, good sir? Nectar of Gods, or Old Till Light. The old lady calls it Old Milwaukee. It reminds me of my early 20s when we would hunt squirrels all day and then play beer pong with the nuts we would find in their nests, getting completely blind, drunk. Tatanka Gia Mielo. Wait, did I offend you with the squirrel's nuts? Then I guess, dude, the Indians fired at least 30 gunshots of straight black powder onto him. So when they burned him with sticks and threw coals at him, it would scorch his flesh, and then after all of that craziness was over, after hours of constant torture, when Crawford had finally fallen to his knees, some crazy mother scalped him. Wow. Yeah, and then I guess the dude threw it in Dr. Knight's face and said that this is your great commander. So Dr. Knight was tied up and observed all of this crazy shit. And he knew his torture would come a few days later at another Indian village, and he actually made the great escape, which included him hiding out in the swamplands of Ohio for months and traveling only at night trying to find safety at a fort. Dr. Knight later wrote about seeing this old squaw, whose appearance was said to in every way answer the ideas that people entertain of the devil. She took a burning log and laid it on his back and head. And then Crawford raised himself up on his feet, stumbled around the post for a few minutes, but to him, that would have seemed like eternity. That's crazy, and this really happened? Yeah. So what does this have to do with the water you use in your beer? Oh, yeah. So, like I was saying about the Broken Sword Creek, legend has it that when Colonel Crawford saw the natives coming for him, he drew out a sword and broke it off on a rock so he wouldn't die by his cold steel that he wore proudly on his side. Wow! Yeah, I feel like such a knowing I'll never have to run from a war party of fierce Wyandotte Indians that's in pursuit of my scalp. Knowing that if I was captured, they would make me regret ever being born. Legend also has it that the sword is still present in the Sandusky River and gives it a very unique, very rare, and very glorious chemical composition, which can be matched by no other water in the universe. Nowhere in Germany, Ireland, or even the glorious mountains of Colorado can match the history and chemically enhanced waters of the mighty Sandusky. So that ends the story of one of the most disastrous American military campaigns in our history. Colonel Crawford's death isn't only one of the most iconic episodes of the colonial frontier, it's also a brief glimpse of our human history that reveals the depravity of the human heart from both sides of people. And what's crazy and incredibly sad is that there are still groups of people out there in the world that still live by these same barbaric practices. 236 years have gone by, human beings have flown out of the world's atmosphere and walked on the moon. Hell, Elon Musk wants to colonize another planet in our lifetime. Colonize another world, man. And yet people are still getting their heads cut off or being stoned to death or threatening to nuke anywhere on the planet, which would absolutely everyone and all of our future generations of every living thing on Earth. All because our societies throughout our documented human history have and sadly will always be run by insane people for insane objectives. The natives back then just wanted to be left the alone, but when greed and insanity came knocking at their doorstep, they had to live by their tooth for a tooth and eye for an eye principles. Crazy thing is, too, if brave dudes like Crawford didn't sacrifice themselves, then we wouldn't be where we are today, which is arguable that it's better or worse. This little spinning ball we live on is crazy, man.
No, what's crazy is that this beer tastes like water.
Those good old times, guess we're meant to be. And watch at a winery.